Tuna wageni watatu, Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani, karibuni sana.
Shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom. Greetings to all of my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world. Whether you're of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, I welcome you. We welcome you. This is a Q2UA Discussions Live. Shout out to our family last night for coming on, as we had discussed in real time what was going on, the impact of what we will be seeing here in the next few hours. Rest assured, I'm reading articles right now. Signs are popping all over to sell in the stock market. These are just they're priming you. Well, listen, when you lose all your money, we kind of told you that was going to happen. Can't get too mad at us. When we were telling you, look, we really couldn't have a valuation on the stock market, and that the treasury rates are the highest in 16 years, and the yield crosses 5%. I'm putting these in the chat because here is the thing. I don't want to tell people that, well, Brother Karras is embellishing for, Q2UA. No, I'm telling you, I'm showing you what's happening, because I don't want anyone to say that we never said this, that we never told you all what was coming down the pike. What does that mean? As the 10-year treasury yields cross 5%, that means that nobody is buying the bonds anymore. Bonds are important because why? Because they literally allow the treasury, the U.S. Treasury, which is headed by this person, the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, who then gives that to what? Janet Yellen, who is the head of the U.S. Treasury, the monies needed to do what? To backstop the economy and say we can print as much money as we want. But you got to remember, every time you print, guess what? What was $10, the equivalent of $10, is now divided to 100. The equivalent of $100 is now $10, but now that's 1,000. Do you see how that goes? It is a devaluation effort. And now all that money's floating on out there, and everything has been devalued. And now what we may be seeing on the horizon is uncontrollable inflation. This is what happens, family. Things will become very expensive to us. Why? Because they'll have to try to limit what the world deals with and what America deals with. I put those articles in the chat. We said that this was going to be a very interesting week. And let me tell you this, family. This was just something that was presented yesterday. Let me go ahead. I'll present this again. And I'm going to put this again in the chat. U.S. warns every American abroad to be cautious, not just in the Middle East, not just in Eastern Europe, not just in North Korea, not just near the South China Sea, near the Strait of Taiwan, but every American abroad. The U.S. Department of State issued a rare worldwide caution alert, urging any American who is overseas to exercise increased caution due to increased tensions in various locations around the world. The U.S. said there is also an increased potential for terrorist attacks, demonstrations, or violent actions against who? Against U.S. citizens. Oh my, have the tables turned in such a quick span. We knew that this was coming, but why was it coming? Because why? I I have to caution our family. They're not going to see us as Israelites. They're not going to see us as Yahudi. They're not going to see us as captives. They're going to see us as this nation. You're going to open up your mouth, and guess what? They're going to hear that English being spoken with that American accent. And the reason I say that is because I want you all to understand that you have to be careful in these times, especially where you are at living abroad. Yeah, this may not be our fight. No, it's not our fight, but guess what? Somebody just declared whose fight it was. And unfortunately, we do get lumped into that measure. Good, bad, or indifferent. So now understand what is happening and why these things are going down. Understand. Jabroni, that I hear what you're saying, brother, but but when they ask you to cook a plate of rice jollof to prove your authenticity, That's when you just surrender right there. Man, I don't know what I'm doing. Listen, I'll cook you some black eyed peas and rice. I can't help you with that Jollof. Let me just give up. Which way is it to my cell? Can I at least have a phone call? Mama, DTV, holding it down. Oh, boy, oh boy. Exactly. Gotta practice while you still can. I was thinking about looking online for some African dishes just so I could start cooking in my apartment to make it smell more like the homeland. Oh no, 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 no. I am Cameroonian. That is what my 23 and me says. That is according to ancestry.com. And I'm jumping full in. Everybody's now applying for dual citizenship passports. Well, those websites aren't even going to be able to handle it. Man, how do I get the Sierra Leone passport? All right. Oh my goodness. No, family, the struggle is real. The declaration is real. We played that last night. I'm not going to go ahead and reanimate the Islamophobia and the Russophobia. Would it be Russia or Russophobia to now have the inflection point that somebody, one of these YouTube commenters got real mad. They done took my inflection point. Yo, what's up with that, Biden? Well, in the speech that was written by ChatGPT, that was the buzzword of the internet. So, wow. Now, here we are. Now, family, understand why the money, all you have to do is follow the money. Follow the money. This is something interesting because this is from out of Dagans.com, but this was on MSN. Now I'm going to drop this link here. And that's for all the folks that think, hey, we're saying something, we're tripping. Hey, bad news for Ukraine. USA in shocking turnaround. U.S. reroutes artillery from Ukraine to Israel amidst Middle East tensions. In an unexpected move, the Pentagon is diverting a sizable cache of 155 millimeter artillery shells originally meant for Ukraine to Israel. This comes as Israel intensifies its preparations for potential confrontation in the Gaza Strip and along the Israeli Lebanese frontier. Inside sources have revealed to Axios that these military shells, part of a bilateral agreement, have been stored in Israel but were shifted to Ukraine earlier this year, i.e., read between the lines. What do you think is happening? They don't have enough ammunitions, i.e., everything's coming out of storage, i.e., there's going to be a real ammunition deficit. Because why? Because the whole agenda of this was to provide a honeypot, and the U.S. fell into its own honeypot. Literally, the U.S. fell into its own honeypot because all of those places that had originally manufactured weaponry for the U.S. cut off. They cut it off. Shout out to Benia Israel. In the context of the historical understanding of what war is being fought and who is fighting who, genetically speaking. You can declare everything you want to declare, but let me tell you, the Most High doesn't lie about the nations, no matter what name you decide to steal or acquire, however they want to label it. The Most High still looks at your forefathers. The Most High still looks at your nation. The Most High still looks at your genealogy. And now what we are seeing is that you see a lot of fronts developing because now this went from a regional world war to now a multi-regional. And multi-regional meaning global. You have the Yemen folks going crazy. And it's funny because, as I had watched our man in Canada, and he just corroborated everything I had said. Yemen was quiet. And then they threw out an article yesterday saying, oh, it's been a conflict. All of a sudden, the conflict stirred up, and it's still a conflict. No. Yemen, believe it or not, since about February, March of this year, has been on the road to reconciliation, the Houthis and the government. This is why you had the Iranians and the Saudis talk to each other. This is literally why you've had the whole Arab axis on one accord regarding this situation. That was never before seen. Because why? Because somebody would show up with the briefcase and say, hey, we got all this money for you. You see these dollars? We got all these dollars for you. You see all this cash? Where they're looking at them like, man, what you really got for us? The only color we want to see is gold. We don't want to see green. That green is really making me sick because there ain't nothing valuable about it. Now, that gold, on the other hand, that's when we're talking. You'll pay for that. I wonder. I wonder if the State Department folks did that. That henchman gargle with their throats. You'll pay for that. If you do not want to take the money, you would pay. They're like, let me tell you, number one, you can't control your black folks anymore. Ooh, that cuts and hits into so many layers. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Number two, we gotta watch out. Because why? Because when they're through with y'all, when the Most High is through with y'all, we know where he's coming to next. Do not get it twisted. The Saudis just ended slavery in the 1930s, family. Stop. Understand your recent history. The Arab slave trade was going on until the 1930s, less than 100 years ago. When you're in Tanzania, excuse me, when you're in Tanzania, Zanzibar is a major island. Do you know what was going on in Zanzibar? Zanzibar was the shipping location. To get to the Arabian Peninsula, from the Arabian Peninsula, to get to the east. Don't think they don't know. They know. Well, let me go ahead and guess what? I'm going to throw the West all four tires under the bus. That's how that goes. I'm going to throw the West all four tires. Understand where they're positioning themselves. The West versus East. Oh, I don't know why did they globally position themselves? I want to be attached to the folks that said, look, we saw the error of our ways in harming the children of the Most High. Please forgive us. Yada yada. They know what they're doing. This is a calculus. What did Russia say in February of 2022? January, February 2022. What did they say? They said this was a what? A holy war. Do you not understand that the head of the Russian Orthodoxy Church had declared that it was a holy war? Let's not have our Western 15-second memory mind. This was all declared. Why? Because then that Russian iconography, and then Putin was in front of it, and then those videos were released. And then shortly thereafter, the real start of World War III happened because the Rubicon had literally been crossed for the West. And now it's gradually expanding. Now the Red Sea, which feeds up to the Suez, which feeds over African goods, which is what it is, East African goods are now going to be diverted. Understand what's happening. Understand South Africa. Guess what? That's cut off. East Africa's cut off. If a corridor is cut off, then guess what? You're stuck. Those fleets over there inside the Persian or Arabian Gulf, they're stuck. Everywhere there in the Indian Ocean, it's stuck. Because why? They got to get through the South China Sea and over there through India, Indonesia. What do you think's going to happen? They're cut off. You now have a corridor of the world cut off, and that is the Indian Ocean. And that's why you have Australia scrambling to try to figure out if they want to be the first of the traditional colonial powers to jump ship or not. Because why? Because they knew what happened in World War II with the Japanese. And they know that this thing ain't built like it was the last time. Because why? Because let me tell you, the world colonialization program has not been very fruitful for those that have had those 700 military bases. One of the 700 military bases. I was watching one of the YouTube channels earlier, and there was a U.S. soldier killed in Syria. Do you know about 3 months ago, the Syrians were saying they want all the Americans out of there, and America never responded. Because technically, America's official response is there are no American soldiers in Syria. And then when you have rocket barrages affecting places where American soldiers are at, and one happens to be killed, what can you do? You can't do anything, right? You really can't retaliate. Because why? Because there are no American soldiers in Syria. Except what happened is that some of those rocket attacks ruptured a pipeline. Why? Because that's what we're there for. To do what? To squeeze out that oil. Everywhere there is a strategic place. You have to understand how big this thing is. It's not just going to be an Israeli conflict. This was literally, I'm going to tell you this was literally 10 years in the making. 10 years in the making. Oh, wow. One in Turkey, one in, wow. Roger, I'd like to see that. That article. And those corridors are major line of communication routes. But you're going to have to understand this. All of a sudden, there'll be ISIS that's there to fight the Sunnis. I'm telling you what's going to happen because you can't make it up. They'll be quickly demolished because, of course, they won't be able to have any type of air support. But it'll be enough of a nuisance to do what? To slow things down. This is how it goes. But in my calculus, I don't think that even matters because now you'll have Turkey coming down and basically shoring up things. Because why? You have bases there. Or you're just stuck in Israel. Because why? They won't go to Egypt. They won't go to Lebanon. They sure won't go to Syria. They'll float back to Italy. And then when they do float back to Italy, guess what? Oh, that Black Sea route, that corridor, the Strait of Bosphorus, all that other good stuff. Well, guess what will be floating out of that strait? You guessed it. Whole bunch of Russian ships. And then it'll be decision time. Will America stay or will America return back? Because why? You have major choke points. Strait of Gibraltar. The Bosphorus. With Turkey controlling both sides. I believe that safe passage will be granted to leave the theater, but I believe that's all it'll be there for. They wouldn't be able to do anything on the African coast. Because now this time is coming that the AU has to do put up or shut up. Because why? Because the continent will have to say, we do not want to have any type of involvement in this conflict. No, you're not going to take our oil because what happens? Do you understand that when nations go to war, guess what happens? Resources are consumed at a faster rate. Because why? It's those military resources. The resources are a matter of what? National security. That's what they'll be saying. Due to national security, we now have to ration. That's coming. You want to know a warning sign? Oh, there's going to be tons of warning signs. You want to know how things are going to look? Oh, you'll see how things will look. This is going to be whether you heed them or not. See, you had to understand the declaration. Oh, whoa, you want to know what? Congress is in shambles. Understand what's at play. Congress is in shambles. The president is the only one that still has, under executive orders, under emergency executive orders, emergency executive powers, emergency presidential powers, mind you, that has been in place since literally 2001. Well, those powers are going to have to be utilized to make hard and swift, determined actions for the sake of national security while the nation's in turmoil. Does anybody else see how this book goes? Can anybody read the pages on this book? Can anybody else see what's happening in this Tom Clancy novel? Or would it be novella? Understand what's happening, family. Don't worry, everything's fine. Go back to sleep. You're okay. Get your Christmas shopping done. It's still October. You're okay. Get your Christmas shopping done. Why? We need to stimulate this economy. Get your Christmas shopping done. Cue the Christmas decorations in less than a week. I guarantee you, cue the Christmas decorations in less than a week. We're still trying to decide if we're trick or treating. Halloween is canceled. Go to Christmas. We'll just smash Thanksgiving in there anyway. We'll give you time to eat turkey and get fat, but we want Christmas shopping done now. We're going to do on the 45th day of Christmas. I thought there's only 12 days of Christmas. No, there's 45 days of Christmas. We'll be having holiday office parties. Starting Veterans Day. Well, we just call it the Christmas season and we just wanted to make it officially known and yada, 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 yada. You can see what's literally happening. Oh, yeah, exactly. Jabroni, yeah. It doesn't give the positive vibes. No, you want me to celebrate Halloween and y'all about to put me in the grave. Y'all about to put my son, my daughter in that grave. For what? We stand behind a corrupt regime in the Ukrainians with right wing Nazi affiliations. We stand behind Israel and Israeli apartheid policies. We do what? How? I don't know. And this is what people are going to be saying. I don't know, but according to my moral compass, I can't support this. Hey, listen, we were trying to tell you if you don't want to pay your reparations, and guess what? Then how can you have and be a people or be a nation and declare that you have a moral compass? That hypocrisy doesn't work. You're either going to be wicked or you're going to be righteous. You can't have any go between. Choose ye this day, because you want to know why? Because that declaration's already been made. Choose ye this day. Well, we don't want to pay reparations and we don't want to do this, but we want to support these folks. Wow. See, when you have been blinded by wickedness, you're gonna take that wicked ride all the way to the bottom. We would have healed this place. We would have healed Babylon. But guess what? We all saw this coming. We weren't just talking about this week. We were talking about this thing last year, the year before last, for 3 years, family. For 3 years. This was what we were doing. We were seeing the descent into this chaos. We were seeing it. And we were saying, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. Because why? Everybody was on the Jim Jones Kool-Aid. Folks saw what was going to happen. And if they could, if they had the resources, if they had the means, they were trying to get on out to the continent. Man, let me try and get on out here. Let me try to do what I need to do to get out of the way of this runaway train. Oh, we're on the ride of our lifetimes. We were always saying this was going to spill over. This was the start of World War III. This was the start of the global conflict. And now, during that time, for over 18 months, mind you, over 18 months, the stage was being set. The chess pieces were being moved into play. And now, every piece is on the board. So where does that lead us? That leads us to continuing to foster our relationships with our brothers and sisters on the continent. Continuing to ask the Most High to help us to have favor during this time. Because family, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. Have we not been saying this? It's going to get worse. The declaration that was made yesterday was it's going to get worse. Shout out to brother Brian. He sent me a video. End Times production, and they're explaining it. Problem is their eschatology is always wrong because they don't really know who the people are, but they're explaining what was going on. And truthfully, I do feel sorry for them because when you've hardened your heart against the truth and now everything is on out there, they have nowhere to go now. Well, I was so against them being the people. I was so, and now what can they do? They're in trouble now. I didn't want them to be the people. Because why? Because we were always telling them the declaration. This was getting ready to happen. This was getting ready to occur. Give me a second, family. I don't know. Usually, brother Mike is my backup this morning, but I think a lot of folks they may not have been able to go to bed last night. So I'm all here by my lonesome. Lonely, I'm so lonely, all on my own. Oh, all right, let me stop here. Hallelujah. Give me a second, family. I totally went off script this morning, so I got to get back onto script. Oh, hallelujah. We actually had some things, some things planned. Okay. Ahem. 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 All righty, family. I have some Q2UA announcements. Preparation for mobilization. As we witness the fulfillment of prophecy and the narratives to keep the masses comfortable in their sleep, Q2A is perfectly positioned in timing and by the Most High to mobilize in wisdom and courage. You know, I'm gonna get so much flack this morning, family, from our board. Brother Karras, why'd you have to say it like that? We need you to say it in your natural voice. Your natural voice. You gotta coordinate. You gotta coordinate. You see this? You see this? Yeah. You see this jacket? Yeah. Coordinate. Oh boy. Hallelujah. So we were all prepping, watching, praying, and waiting for the fall of Babylon. And many of us were isolated in this awakening and desperately working to awaken our loved ones. And yet, in launching the mission of Q2UA, we have mobilized in unity of faith and purpose to the glory of the Most High. Excuse me. Together, we established a base on the continent. We created opportunity to convert the dead dollar to the Tanzanian shilling, and we've identified opportunities for village investments and strengthening African economics. And it is thanks to all our donors, volunteers, and strategic partners that Q2A is positioned to support our family during this imminent mobilization of our people. We're at this time, family, we were not doing this in the dark. But it was awesome to see how the Most High, over 6 months ago, had put this in our spirits. I knew something was coming, and I said, look, I want to help in the background because I know something's coming. I know something's happening. I know something's getting ready to pop off. We all felt it. It was a bumpy road to get here, but guess what? It was the Most High who put all the pieces together. And now, by the Most High's grace, we have been positioned, family, that while the nation will be in decline, that's the declaration. You have to understand, when you declared what you just declared, what you saw was just declared in this land yesterday, a little over 12 hours ago, you have to understand that's a declaration of decline. Let's get all together. We need to get together. We need to rally. We need to rally, rally, rally. It's a declaration of decline. And you clearly had their folks saying, we do not support this. So what do you think's going to happen? Oh, of course, there's going to be tons of rallies today. Tons of rallies. Because why? Well, now you see where they stand. We've had the Law for Love Publishing, Law for Love Diaspora Publishing Limited. That was set up back in May, June timeframe. And now that's fully ready to do business. And that's part of the Quest to Unite Africa ecosphere. You know, today we're going to talk about what we're doing with our projects, portfolios, things of that nature, of how we're doing business on the continent, how we're trying to develop land and infrastructure, and what mechanisms that are there to get that development in the process. That was what we were working on. But now we're working on, look, we're going to need volunteers. We're going to need people to help to put this message on out. With that said, we have updated our page. Let me go ahead and share it. All right, let me stop. What we wanted to do first is we wanted to understand emergency preparedness is vital. It is key. No matter what, prepare, family, prepare. You can click on the link, it'll show you how to prepare. Shout out to Brother Fast Nickel and Brother Red with how they revamped the page. And at the very, very bottom of the page, we have our Quest to Unite Africa shop. We are live. Brother Mike, if you want to jump on, I put the link into the leadership sync. We've demoed this page for a couple of days now, family, and we would like to announce. Well, I'd like to announce on behalf of Quest Unite Africa. The page is now live. Hallelujah. Let me also say, family, thank you for the tremendous support. Because we needed to have some funds available in order for this page to launch. Because of the way, it's just the way of the logistics mechanism and how this goes. What it does is there's generally speaking, when you set up an e-commerce site, all you would do was just get the remainder of the operational. You just get the revenue, or excuse me, the profit from the site. The way this thing worked was they wanted to take out the cost first. And then the remainder comes through. This is why we needed help. And it was there were some long faces when I had to say, look, I would like to be ready. We wanted this to be ready last week. I said, we can't do that just yet because we need to have a space to where we can get a buffer to be able to fulfill these orders. And let me tell you, when I put out the call a couple of days ago, we answered in an awesome manner. And now the site is up and ready. And now you all can go and order supplies. Go to shop now. And then we're live. This is all at your fingertips. And we're also working on adding some niche items that we've discussed on Q2UA and Covenant Awakenings. Hallelujah. It's a blessing to see this. This is just one of the many things that we do. Because this is nice. This is a nice thing to have to promote Quest Unite Africa. But really, the biggest thing is making a phone call. It's sending an email. It's setting up a Teams meeting. to talk with our brothers and sisters on the continent. This just helps to support those efforts. Because the real effort is talking to our brothers and sisters on the ground and then showing them, hey, look, by supporting this website, this is what we are working on moving. This is what we're working on providing. You cannot have an economic development plan without the people, especially on the continent. They'll look at AI robots like, why are we going to phase ourselves out when we can literally do the muscle? This is what that shop supports. This is what these phone calls support. These endeavors right here. All of these medical supplies that need to get into the hospitals and the clinics on the ground. We're finalizing paperwork with our partners so we can tell you what it would cost to ship these items, what it would cost to ship these trailers. And I thank the Most High that He's allowed me, He's allowed us to be a part of it. To me, honestly, I just thought, okay, I'll just be doing commentary on this channel. Hallelujah. It was comfortable for me. But let me tell you how the Most High works. He loves to get you out of your comfort zone. Shalom, Brother Mike.
Shalom. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, Brother Mike. You're an hour late. We'll have that conversation after the.
Hey, listen. I was looking for a link. I'm like, man, Karis ain't putting no link up. I said, okay, well, okay, yeah, probably do it later. And that's all I was looking at, man. I'm serious. Yeah. Oh, well, man, I tell you, this stuff here that they got going on, I mean, you know what? One thing I would say, I heard you mention Ben. How you pronounce his name? Ben Israel. He broke down, not necessarily just him. Deborah, yeah, they broke down a prophecy concerning the situation of what's going on, and it was really nice. So if you ever seen it, you can go to the Deborah Yah's channel and look at it. But how they broke down Amos, I think it was chapter 3. I'm not for sure, but they broke down as to things that's going on and things of that nature. But with all of this that's going on with this medical equipment, you talking about war. You ain't seen nothing. Now you're about to see a whole lot more stuff they go try to unload.
Yes.
Of course, now you'll be surprised what war can do to equipment. Everybody knows here in the United States, everything is about human consumption. You go into these department stores. You see all of the stuff in the department stores. You got to ask yourself, do we really buy like this? And then usually when people buy, they don't need it. They do not need it. Now, with this war, what they have stocked up in these stores,
Yes.
there you go. It goes over. We got this here, and this brother here, he turning stuff away. Hospital beds. He can't take it. He ain't got no room for it. These are the things he's turning down. But we know if there was a means of getting it to the continent, there will be no way he'll be turning that stuff down. Boom. We helping our brothers. You talking about one of the poorest hospitals in Africa would be nearby up to date if we had the means of having all of this equipment shipped over there. We not just talking about one hospital either. We talking about multiples. If the means was there, if we had the means to take care of all 6 trailers, send all 6 trailers over there, that will open up the warehouse for him to take more stuff in. And this is what's happening. It's like an it's going to be a really the effects now. This is bad. This is bad because we still trying to get funds to get this this equipment shipped out. This is bad. Now it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse because now they're going to try their best to shove it down his throat. We got to move this stuff. They're going to look for other non-for-profit to give this stuff to. And so that's where we have a problem. But all of the equipment, hey, we trying to help our people and things of that nature. And so with that, I mean, that's the reason why we say those donations, whether it's $2, $3, $5, they help because it adds up to getting this equipment and getting other things done here and in Africa. Both.
So let me be real frank with everybody. Which is what we're working out the details for. Sister Char's in the background. She does a fantastic job with our legal services and general counsel. We have an opportunity to ship those containers. In doing so, the minimum, and I have to break it down to it like this, family. The minimum cost of shipping out those containers, this is just the minimum cost to ship out those 6 to 7 containers. It would be about $250,000. That's the minimal cost. That's not even including any type of administration fees. That's not even including, the time to inventory, to write up your bill of lading. That's just the minimal cost. And let me tell you this, family, it's getting more and more expensive because now you see what's happening in those maritime routes. And by the way, a lot of these items are time sensitive. I don't want to sugarcoat anything. It takes money to bring equipment to the continent, especially when you're talking trailers full. But each one of those containers is no less than $1 million in medical supplies. no less. If you have a church that would like to sponsor, if you have a work or any other organization that would like to sponsor, everything is welcomed. But that's what we're dealing with, family. To ship all 6 of those containers, it would be over $250,000. Yeah,
And
that's.
it's kind of a bad time, though. I mean, well, you know,
I don't think it's a bad time. Honestly, I think this is a great time.
and you know what? And it could be. I'm gonna
Why?
tell you
That's
this.
why. It
Mhm.
political will. It shows goodwill to what? To our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Well,
This
yeah,
is
oh
a
yeah,
time.
yeah. For that, yeah. For that reason, yes. But I'm looking at now. They so hell bent on getting their point across, and it's always going to be the little people who suffer, because what's going to happen? Gas is going to go up if it not has already went up. So now,
Well, let me tell you
go ahead.
what's going to happen. They're going
Hmm.
to empty the rest of their strategic reserve. Gas is going to probably stay down for about another month or so to get through this rocky point. Gas will stay down for a month or so. They know how this thing goes, but then gas will go up, because there was an article, or I wanted to present that, um, and not just an article, it's a video, and that video was showing that the U.S. had lifted sanctions on, yeah, right here, had eased sanctions on Venezuela. This is from Sister Lisa Cabrera. I'm going to share that here in the chat.
Wanting to
Um,
sister so she can hear the sleep in my eyes. No, no. Give it a couple of hours. My voice it'll straighten itself out. A couple of hours, boom, I'm gonna be good.
Because why? They're trying everything that they can to what? To juggle this.
Hmm.
They're trying to juggle this. Remember, not even 2 years ago, the special operations folks, or retired, or whatever you want to call them,
Hmm.
that got caught in the beach there in Venezuela. They're, they're from like Florida, out of Miami.
Mm.
Remember, they were trying to overthrow the Venezuelan government with that puppet that never really had any traction
Wait.
in Venezuela. Oh, it was very embarrassing. It was very embarrassing. And now here you are. Hey, we're friends again. You tried to murk me, and you want to say that we're friends? I it's very interesting.
Mm.
It's very interesting, but that's exactly how this thing goes.
Mm. Well, whoever's I ain't gonna say whoever. We know how this stuff is going down. We know exactly how it's going down. Um, it kind of got us on alert. It got us on alert, because I mean we got to look at their actions
Hmm.
in order for us to know which way we need to go. To a certain degree. When we start seeing this here, and maybe this just may be Yah's will that, hey, they occupy. Do what you need to do and keep it moving. And truthfully, that's the way I see it. At the same time, I mean, they're doing what they're doing. Um, we know there's a change of power, and I'm quite sure they recognize it too. There's a change of all of it, and so I think this is going to be, if they had to tally it all up money wise, I can just only imagine how I would say this war would cost. It should be in the trillions.
It'll be trillions.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this cat talking about he won 100, and I'm like 100 billion, and and you're talking about African Americans reparations, but he went right on over there and said he need 100 billion to give to Israel, and at the same time, they looking for the support of Black people. Man, please.
Yeah, did you notice that? Did you notice how he was trying to phrase that? This is all our fight. This is all, that and it's like, wait a second. Now you want our support, but you don't even want to lift a dime. You don't even want to talk about reparations, but you want to create all the money that you want. That's just literally what Janet Yellen said. They can create as much as you want, but you don't even want to create a dime for reparations. Get out of here. You're fighting this on your own.
That's the thing.
You're on your own.
Go out there and print money like it ain't no thing.
Yeah, what is that? Hashtag yo-yo. You heard this. You heard it first. Hashtag yo-yo. You're on your own.
And it's just, they doing what they doing.
Don't come around here. Don't come around here. Don't come around here. But we need your help. We need your sons and your daughters to fight against the hashtag. You're on your own.
And they showed themselves. You had veterans who fought in wars and they homeless. Veterans trying to get medical attention, they don't qualify. Man, this is the history now. This is the history of this country. And you think, and people look at this stuff, and it's nice to say thank you for your service and everything. Then when they need the service of a country they fought for, and they're not getting it, to say thank you is kind of disrespectful when you can't get the help you're supposed to be getting. That's why you have all these other guys out here fighting for them to get the help that they need. If they homeless, shucks, you out there dodging bullets. Unknowingly over a lie. Yeah, they pump this stuff up. They, make it feel like you're doing something holy. And 9 times out of 10, you fighting a fight that has nothing to do with you, and is built on a lie, and it's also a bullying tactic. Purple collection, okay. Those some gym shoes?
Yeah, you got shoes, some canvas shoes, yeah. You still got the net gators. This is for my British fam. Mugs, cups, hoodies. Yeah, it's all right here, family. Shout out again to Brother Fast Nickel and Brother Big Red for this. It's a blessing. This is awesome to see this. It's awesome to look at this.
I'm quite sure the Russians are popping that. They probably playing that song they made. What was it? 2 years ago they came out with that song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, it seems now because we have at least I haven't seen anything major yet. Uh, but I think later on this evening, maybe tomorrow, I think all of that's going to change at least by Monday. Now he gonna start seeing a lot more. I think we're going to see a lot more uh, shells and bullets being slung around.
Well, it's all going to be in preparation for this ground invasion. What do they always do?
What ground invasion? Here?
Oh,
Oh,
Israel and the Gaza.
oh, all right, all right.
Yeah, so they already said they're going in. It's just going to be when they go in. Of course, they're not going to want to televise when they're going to go in. They're going to try to keep it as quiet as possible. That's the that's the whole intent. Keep things very quiet, keep things very hush, and
Mm-hmm.
you go on from there. So, that's what they're going to try to do. The problem is, I think that to me, I think that they're too clumsy. You see what I'm saying? They're going to try to knock around or try to tiptoe around, right? And do things that honestly they're not used to doing. They haven't been they're not a military
Mm-hmm.
that, is used to, not being um checked. Because the US is trying to tell them, look, do this thing quietly, do it on the hush, don't make this thing a production, do this thing, like this and that. No, they're going to be very clunky. They're going to be a bull in the china closet, and that's what's going to happen. All these dishes and plates and everything else is going to be busting through, and people are going to notice, oh man, you're doing this, you're doing that. Oh well, you're in Gaza, surprise.
Mm. So I mean, hmm. Well, I'm looking at it. North Korea. I'm looking at China and Russia. How is that land invasion? How would that trigger them? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, well, here's the thing. The retaliation effort is going to be all through Iran. So everything that's going to be
All
done
right,
is
yeah.
going to be through Iran. Now, I also look at it like this. I believe that Iran has hypersonic missiles from Russia because Iran has already boasted that they have hypersonic missiles for Russia. And the thing is, why would they be lying about that? That's just going to be me. Why would they be lying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The question is going to be is how many hypersonic missiles do they have? And will Russia authorize them to use hypersonic missiles? Because the whole point of it is if that happens or when that happens, then you're going to have a scenario because you're not what Iran will ask, please open up a theater so I'm not going to get the direct brunt of this. And on top of that, Saudi Arabia, please restrict airspace so that just disrupts patterns. Because why? Because it's a restrictive environment between the Mediterranean, Israel, and Iran. So if you have airspace that's then restricted by Saudi Arabia, you're not going to go through Syria and you're not going to go through Iraq. There's going to be too many surface to air missiles.
Mm.
So those corridors are gone. So Iran will start lobbing things over, and there will be really no other way to, strike them unless they go through Al Udeid. And that's even a target because why? Because Al Udeid is literally less than 500 miles away from Iran. It's actually like Closer than that, I think it's only like less than 300.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, so now with so I mean, what do you think? When do you think China will start having a conflict with Japan? Because it seems like the United States is about to get themselves occupied.
Well, what do lizards do? Lizards are what? They're and I'm not saying China's a lizard, but I'm saying, the principality of a lizard, right?
Hmm.
Lizards do what? They take advantage of situations. They're
Yeah.
not going to go through until they see that things are bogged down. And then, just like how they had to divert what? The weapons caches of the 155 millimeter howitzers. Well, guess what? They'll have to divert strike groups, especially strike groups that are closest to that proximity, to that area. They'll have to fight their way through the Red Sea.
Mm.
And so then while they're bogged down and getting through the Bab al Mendeb, then guess what? Then that's free. That's an easy accomplishment of going over into Taiwan.
All right, but
And
now
so,
they. Go ahead. I'm sorry, but
yeah, go ahead.
they were saying that um, just for the United States to be getting in a conflict with Iran will be. They said if they have a strong probability of losing that war with Iran. Now this Iran is one of the 7 countries they wanted to um, to take over, right? Because this was
I
some years ago. I read that.
Iran usually has pretty good technology. This is why the Russians use Iranian drones. The only thing that was literally holding Iran back was because Iran was getting help through Russia and China to avoid what? Sanctions. And remember when Russia was having a ton of sanctions placed on it in 2021 and in 2022, what was going on? They were cozying up and they were doing what? They were, for the most part, trading with each other through Iran. Now you have to understand why you have Azerbaijan and Armenia going to war. Because why? Because that is a proponent of an east-west conflict. Because why? Because you have Azerbaijan that is more eccentric, but you also have Armenia. And that is then a corridor of conflict. Why do you think they want Armenia wanted to get into their Batakan or Baragoro? I'm not even sure how you pronounce that um, outlet in Azerbaijan. Because why? Because then they could stem the flow of support, Russian support into Iran through the Caucasus, through Georgia,
Hmm.
through that Caucasus region. Iran isn't that far from Russia. It's a hop, skip, and a jump. It's a flotilla on the Caspian Sea or Khazarian Sea, however you want to label it for historical context.
So, do you think that France or the Europeans would step in and help the United States?
Honestly, they are a victim of proximity.
Hmm.
They're a victim of proximity. They'll
Hmm.
they will say we are Switzerland. But NATO, well, we're Switzerland now. Or in the
Hmm.
words of The Wire, they're like Amsterdam. It's Amsterdam, yo. Ain't no cops getting involved. This is Amsterdam.
Wow. So I mean,
Oh,
uh
yeah,
hmm.
go ahead.
Well, let me pose this to you. When can a person I ain't gonna necessarily say a person, anybody can say it, but when would you think that they would come out and say, look here, the world is at war right now, everybody is fighting? I'm asking that for a legitimate reason.
Well, what's the definition of fighting? Is fighting going to be kinetic operations, between, armaments and, other ammunition or munitions, or is kinetic or is fighting going to be through trade and financial operations to affect an economy? Look, when you are able to affect an economy and you're telling you're limiting resources of that particular nation from vital commodities, that's war too.
Okay.
Because
Mhm.
that produces famine, and then famine produces what? Produces death. Because why? Because people are either hungry, people don't have electricity because they don't, and they're living in austere conditions with weather and water and things of that nature. So there is a lot of, you know, um, things that can lead to death besides a bullet.
Mhm.
Because why? Because when you restrict resources, guess what you're also are going to contend with? You're going to contend with social and political upheaval. Let
Mhm.
folks not be able to get food for 3, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Let people not be able to have electrical when they need that for any type of medical devices and things of that nature. Most Americans need to have some sort of a medical device. The numbers are staggering. So
Hmm.
imagine if you need something to be able to help you sleep. Imagine if you need something to like a dialysis machine, but you
Man.
can't get any. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Some sort of a heart monitor, some sort of a regulator, and can't, and it's not charged or it's not plugged or you have no source of electricity. That's what they're doing when they said that they cut off the electricity. You have to think about what human conditions are on out there. What physiological conditions are being affected because someone's health is literally tied to that.
Well, because I'm looking at it like this. I seriously believe that, you know, that's going to be an opportunity for us because these countries they're not going to be. I mean, what's the purpose of gold? The price of gold rising. What's the main root of it?
Well, the main root of gold rising is you have to understand gold is artificially suppressed. It has always been artificially suppressed
Hmm.
because if you actually have the true price of gold would be pegged at about let me do this calculation. It's literally is supposed to be 1/30th of or 1/35th of the price of a dollar. So technically everything that you have, yeah, Sister Corinne, it should be about 3,000.
All righty now. Think about this. The world is at war. Now, a couple months ago, the brothers in Africa start taking over their land. No, they want to do everything. If they're going to mine it, clean it, have it already processed. We're going to sell you a finished. We're gonna sell you a finished product, bruh. I seriously believe that's going to be the time for us to really capitalize on it. And for the ones that are there that are misusing the land, that seems like that would be the opportunity. And I see this happening now. You know, just me talking with this brother. There's a sister also there. I was going to talk with also, but for the things that's going on, you got this damnation of this arrogance of these countries. For us to get there and and we start investing within ourselves, within ourselves. All the while they doing what they're doing. We're doing. We know that there's going to be a change of power. We know this. And it's going to be a change of income. We know this. And this just may be that leeway that we can take. Because now it seems like they're doing a very good job of rallying Islam together. Because I mean, they're coming together like, because of what the situation here that they got going on in Gaza. So now, if Israel goes into Gaza, what do you think will happen? And it's just not going to be just a World War III. You're talking about, I'm going to just use this word. Well, you're going to start seeing attacks in different countries. Period. You're going to see that. They can be fighting, but you're going to have some situations going on in your own backyard. And I mean, I could be wrong about this, but the way they came together, man, that's a whole lot of them. It's a whole lot of Islam. It is a whole lot of them.
Well, let me share this article. This is I put it in the chat. This is from Axios.com. This was about 3 hours ago. Behind the curtain, rattled U.S. government fears wars could spread. And it's not good. They it will, but you know, they want to give you the positive spin. You got to remember, they're talking to folks. They don't want to go to war, but what did they just do? They literally said, we're going to go to war. There's no stopping this train. So, just to give you a highlight, never before have we talked to so many top government officials who, in private, are so worried about so many overseas conflicts at once, why it matters. We don't like to sound dire. Like, they never want to sound dire. Everything is going to be good. Everything's a good spin. Because why? Because the point is, Babylon is working until its final day of destruction. That's it.
And it's all over said and done. Yeah.
For real. That's all. Yeah, it's good. Oh, well, don't worry. We have CBDC. Don't worry. We had this. We have that. So think about where this context is at. Think about what they're saying and think about what the word says. Because now you're having a complete conflict between prophecy and reality. And they don't want to reconcile that their reality is actually indicative of prophecy at the same time that's going on. Why it matters. We don't like to sound dire, but to sound a siren of clinical, clear-eyed realism. U.S. officials say this confluence of crises poses epic concern and historic danger. Behind the scenes, officials tell us that inside the White House, this was the heaviest, most chilling week since President Biden took office just over 1,000 days ago. I have that article in there. I have that article in there. Because why? Because now everybody's trying to figure out, well, where can they muster at? Where can they get to? Look, we're telling you, family, we do not have much longer. We don't have much time, but the time that we do have, we need to maximize it.
To the highest degree.
Exactly. The strength that we have in this US dollar, we need to maximize it. Maximize it while it's still valuable because you know what's going to happen. In an hour, Babylon is destroyed. And why? What? The merchants of the world are what? They're weeping. Isn't that Revelations chapter 17?
Mm-hmm.
Take the time, family, to prepare, because I'm going to tell you this. Even when stocks sink, what they're doing is they're getting out the money while the value is there. That's why the treasury bonds look like that, because they're selling. Because why? Because these nations are trying to get the value out of the dollar while it's still there. And guess what? You're left holding paper.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of what? Instead of gold. You're left holding a note that's on a sheet of paper instead of actual real value that's pegged to something that's worth something.
Wow. Then it was the book of Ezekiel was talking about how money is going to be floating around in the street, just being blown around
Yeah.
in Babylon. That's
Yeah, they're
that's
gonna
the
throw it
dollars.
away. Yeah, they're gonna throw
It's
it
going to
out
be
of the
just blown
street.
away. It's going and we seeing that right now. We seeing that right now. And the sad thing about it is this: for the brothers that do have money, the brothers and sisters that do have money, they don't even realize how broke they are. They don't realize it because especially this young generation, they'll get on TV and flash up money, boom, 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 and they walk around this outlandish jewelry.
Mm-hmm. And
But when that dollar,
the gold
mhm,
is probably fake, or the gold is probably tainted. Because here's
mhm,
the thing. I don't think the value of gold and the value of this jewelry is even worth the weight.
yeah, and then and then 9 times out of 10, it's covered with gold. Nine
Yeah.
times out of 10, I bet you it's covered with it. But they'll get on TV, yeah, and make like, hey, we doing this here. No, 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 because the moment, let me go back. Now, ever since this uh, incident with the United States, when the United States got more and more voicing its opinion to Israel, what do they call it? A crypto. It went up to it was like staying around 26,000. Now it went up to 29,000. I'm like, all right. I mean, what are they trying to prove with this here? I mean, are they really truly trying to go to crypto? And so, hey, if the dollar goes, we can fall back on this. And I don't know, but this is what I'm looking at, and that's what I'm seeing. Because I know I tried to get into my account 2 days ago. It would not let me in there. It would not let me in. And I mean, I don't know what's going on. I tried to use my bank card a couple of days ago. It gonna tell me something was wrong with the chip. A day later, boom, put it in, it's working. I'm like, this stuff here, man, is, and then like they said, I remember, they said expect more cyber attacks. I think that right there is going to be the game changer.
Yeah, yeah. Because
That's there, yeah.
let me explain this to everybody here. Why cyber attacks are really the biggest threat. And that's the biggest threat that far more exceeds any missile Because you want to know why? Because cyber attacks can directly affect the infrastructure of the United States. See, people pay attention when the ones and zeros that have been manipulated to showcase wealth are no longer easily manipulatable. That's when the panic ensues.
Yeah.
Oh, these folks want to go for this or go for that. It's not the dollar. It's not the gold. It's like it's the electronic
Yes.
transactions. I was reading a peer-reviewed article the other day. It's part of my paper for BRICS, and it was saying that part of these regional trade agreements that's to help strengthen the BRICS and these BRICS adjacent nations, it focused in on global transaction mechanisms. Global transactions are done through electronic transactions and being able to have that secured. Why would they talk about securing global transactions? Because you have to think about it. That's what they're going to attack. Hey, look, you don't want to deal in the dollar. You don't want to deal in the SWIFT because why? Why? Look at what happened the other day. As far as these folks will clown.
Man,
Every black person became a billionaire overnight.
look here, man. Sister Corinne said she went to go withdraw some money from her investment, and they go tell her that she cannot get any money until next year.
Oh, that's wow. Yeah. Wow.
No. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I mean, this is what this is their God. I mean, this is what this country made this money out to be. I mean,
you can't get access to their God. You can't get access to Mammon. That's what's happened. Let me tell you about how with Quest to Unite Africa, when we were getting things set up, they put us on some sort of like U.S. Treasury designation list. Earlier this year, they put us on a U.S. Treasury designation list. Because you want to know why? Because we took off in April, May, and June, and we were growing so fast. They're like, we got to tamper it.
I even had concerns. I had called Karis. I was like, Karis, man, I think I'm being followed. I'm not, and I'm not that type of person that be feeling that way. I said, but Karis, this cat is doing some stuff that don't make no sense. It was a Gentile. I called Karis. Karis told me to do everything like this and do that, and tell me what he do. I told Karis everything. I did what Karis said do, and this guy was like, I said, man, he acted like he taking a picture of the hotel. But he aiming it at me. I'm looking at this cat now. And I see Cat was like, what he got on? I told him everything that guy had on. He said, yeah, they watching you. He said, they watching you. He said, Mike, you've been to Africa, what? Well, how many times? 2 times? Well, total about, Tanzania, two times. But we making moves. And then, hey, I don't know. Maybe they seen us in the parliament in that video. And so, I mean, it was so much. And Karis told me, he said, Mike, you're going to get flagged. And got flagged, I did. I got flagged coming back more so than anything. Mm-hmm. I got flagged coming back. Going, not so much, because I went through Ethiopia. I flew straight from Chicago to Ethiopia, and from there to Tanzania. But coming back now, both times, both times, they had the dogs out and sniffing bags and everything. What is your purpose of your visit? Visit? I say I live here. And it was all, like, man, what's going on? I showed them my driver's license. I'm like, ain't this about a trip? But I think that they have done their research upon us and things of that nature, man. And I mean, hey, it is what it is, and they doing what they do.
Yeah, but listen, those are standard. That's standard, especially in the world of anti-money laundering, KYC, know your customer, things of that nature. Because we came out in the gate. We came out of the gate
running,
and not we weren't running. We were sprinting Usain Bolt style, especially for an organization that is Black managed. That's what happens. And that's what happened. We're not here in a society that they want us to succeed. That doesn't happen. But it was literally through the grace of the Most High that we were able to get things together. We had to do things skillfully. We had to ensure that we were accounting for everything that we were bringing in. We had to make sure that we have our P's and Q's. Because we're under we're under a scrutiny.
They had that fear of a Black Messiah. I think they seeing that more of a reality now. I think they seeing that more of a reality.
Well, they're seeing that their resources and their traditional resource routes are leaving. And let me tell you this, family, that's why what the Most High has done, he's positioned us here in this time. They want to do consultancy in Africa. Well, then, you know what? They need to come through us. They want to get any type of resources. Well, then guess what? They need to go through us. And we'll make sure that we have a fair negotiation. We will make sure what's fair, not what they say is fair. We'll be the ones to quantify that effort. And that's what they're truly afraid of. Whoa, wait a second. Wait, you want Black folks, you want the African Americans to be involved in this? Yes. But we told you how they are. But we told you. I don't know what you're trying to sell me, but they're more truthful than anything coming out of your lips. We don't want no token. We want to deal with those brothers and sisters over there in that organization. We want our interest to be looked after. Because why? Because they know what it feels like to be shortchanged. They know what it feels like to be used and manipulated. So they can tell us what we need to see in the manipulative language and how it needs to be clear and straightened out and articulated so that shadowy talk is exposed.
That's bro. That's going to take some investments. Talking with brothers and sisters, our interest is right now is it's kind of right now it's based upon some emotions, and everything starts with emotion, and then eventually it goes into a reality state. And I think we are at that point. It's becoming more of a reality. The brothers and sisters are seeing what needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
They seeing what's need to happen, and you talking about they get on TV and they make like everything is it's good, and especially these commercials. Oh, they showing they showing like, I mean, dark skinned people in with groups out, a group outing in these commercials, showing them, hey, we are one, we're together. I think that's the biggest front or the biggest lie ever. Because if this stuff, I mean, it ain't gonna settle down. But if it did settle down, the dust settle, they gonna be right back on their same old game.
Mm-hmm.
Same old game. And we're like, you need to go back to your, you need to be put back in your place. That was just a means to an end to draw you in. We don't need you now. You need to go back to your spot. And we'll wait for the next generation, and we go draw them in. And that's all they have done to our people. Civil War, World War I, the Vietnamese War, and they use all of these tactics. Man, they even tested it on us, and they have the audacity to tell us, you all are always looking at the past. We didn't have no doings with that. But their forefathers left them an income that dominates us, and they can say these things. They can't understand how a black man feels or a black woman feels. We're two different types of people. Two. No matter how you look at it, we are our own. You have these people here, and you have us. Period. You have us. We'll take anybody in about. Not so much with them. And if they do, it's going to be eventually put into a movie, and the child that they may take in would need to be somewhat kind of touched or somewhat kind of retarded. This is how they play us. And I'm like, no, I mean, when you step back and you just look at the history, and now all of a sudden, I ain't gonna say all of a sudden, but nowadays, they want to put us all as one big family. And that is not the case. There's a banking commercial where this Gentile is walking with her daughter. Her daughter is a melanated child, as if giving off the assumption that the father is black. They doing this all the time. They're doing it more than ever before. And they don't think, I know what it's for. It's to draw us in with them. And they know for a fact they got a dead end to their road. There's no dead end for Judah. There's no dead end. Not one. We went through a tribulation. 70 CE started Jacob's trouble or tribulation. Yah spoke about a great tribulation for the nation. Please correct me if I'm wrong. There's a great tribulation for the nation, and Judah will be saved through it. This is what Yah said. There's a great tribulation for this nation. That's not for us. And truthfully, I think they starting their tribulation right now. because the world is saying this is going to be a bloody war.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of killing. And it also appear to me that there's going to be some type of what's the word? I seriously believe that there's going to be a time where there will be, I mean, not necessarily say there will be no law, but I don't think you go see policemen out on the street like that. I think they're gonna be at home trying to take care of their own. Seriously. I think it's gonna be like everybody's out there for themselves. I don't put nothing past Esau and his system. I don't. How many people they say they need that needs to be deleted off this planet? Mm,
To
yes.
500 million to get to the 500 million mark.
Exactly. That's a lot of people, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of people. Who thinks that way, Karis? Who think that? Now, if you talk to the average black man, he don't think that way.
No, no. There's we I don't know any black person that thinks about genocide. that's that's not
Mm-mm.
on us. We're not there thinking about, oh man, it's like I used to see that all the time. It's like, why do they just have blood on their minds all the time?
All the time. All the time, Karis.
Yeah. And now you don't think, look, now I look at it like this because to me, that declaration wasn't just a declaration of, you know, commitments worldwide. To me, that's a declaration of, well, you now have the proper spiritual authority to um to do what your heart's desire is. And don't let them no.
Mm.
Heart's desire, no. Well, we got to rein you on in. We got to be policemen. We got to do exactly what Virginia declared of us back in the early 1600s to be what? The slave catchers. And if you're out of line or we deem you to be out of line, then guess what? We'll revert back to that declaration. Their laws are spiritual declarations. Plain and simple.
Mm.
And usually their laws that are cast against us are spiritual declarations, no matter what they try to say. Well, this is a law that, it was overridden. Was it really overridden? No, it wasn't. Sometimes you can actually see nothing really changed. They gave some legalese to cover some things on up. That's why you have folks literally trying to take away civil rights. They're actively trying to take away civil rights.
Oh yeah, they started that stuff. Back in March is when they started that stuff, and they
Yeah.
just going along with it,
Mm-hmm.
going right along with it. I mean, they trying to. It's like they're trying to start so many different wars, and not really truly sitting back and calculating their actions. It's like this is the dumbest of analysts that the world has ever seen.
Well, I'm gonna say it's not dumb. It's ignorance, right? Dumb to me is when you're being silly, being dumb, playfully, you know, ignorant. This is ignorance of a whole new level, of a whole new order, right? And it's a dangerous ignorance. It's a dangerous ignorance to where, if you don't want to understand the truth, this is the whole thing. As I had said on Covenant Awakenings channel, um, a couple of, I think this was like a month or so ago. If you don't have a standard of truth, then you'll accept any lie. And now, because they don't have a standard of truth, because why? Because the truth is in the word. Well, I just use just one scripture, and this one scripture is all I need. No, you have to read the whole word in context, and you have to understand who the people are so you know where you're at. Because if not, that means you're on the other side of prophecy, which means you're getting ready for your destruction. All
Because
we
I'm,
can
a,
do,
I'm
all we can do is preach to you. That's literally how Jeremiah was. All he could do was just preach to Judah. Look, understand where you're at. It will be well with you to go over to the Babylonians. Because why? Because there is a destruction coming for Judah. And now we're saying this. Look, get out of these spaces, remove yourself from Babylon, turn to the Most High. Because if you're still in the spiritual and emotional space of Babylon, then guess what? You're going to be destroyed with this system.
those that love this world will die with the world. That's what y'all said. And
Yeah.
so,
Read
but
Micah
I'm
chapter 5 through 7. Chapters 5 through 7.
Mhm.
They have to. It's already been declared for this. This is why they don't want you to. This is why, look, we can read the New Testament as much as we want, but they stay away from the Old Testament. Because why? Because there's still a people that the Most High has still established.
They do not want to mess with that Old Testament. They want to. They want out there go out and say that oh, it's done. All those prophecies been fulfilled. No, they haven't. They have not been fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
A great majority of them.
Because they understand when they read the Old Testament and they know who we are, they're on the losing side. That's all it is. And that is the willful ignorance. That's the dangerous ignorance. And now they have a choice. How much longer do they think we're going to be here? Well, they think we're going to be here forever. To me, with all this stuff ratcheting up, honestly, I didn't see this until March. That's that's what I'm telling you. I wasn't looking at what we're seeing right now until about March. I'm literally, in my calculation, I'm 6 months early. That's why you haven't seen Yakoba. I think Yakoba's already done moved to Tanzania. That's why Yakoba's already out. That's why you haven't. Yakoba's already packing his trailer, and he's already. Hallelujah.
Yeah, yeah, brother. You know, he said if y'all give him a leeway, he gone.
You
He
heard
said
nothing.
give him a leeway, I'm gone. Next time y'all might hear from me, I'm gonna be somewhere on that continent.
I don't think you saw a Facebook post from him.
Mm.
From 18 hours ago. That was Jacoba's last Facebook post. I tell you had something.
Man,
I think the twins are gone.
I'm not mad at him now. I mean, matter of fact, I'd be kind of jealous. I like, man, I wish I can get up out of here. But you know, mm, I know you was talking earlier that we got to get more volunteers and things of that nature, and we do because sitting right here, you know, strategizing for the brothers and sisters here locally and even internationally. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. You know, we have the directors, administrations, and things of that nature that we work with, and these brothers and sisters are volunteering their time, you know, to do this. You know, thinking about exit plan. What if? And then we deal with a nice amount of what ifs because we don't know everybody's situation and things of that nature. And so those are the things that we are trying our best to work with and work on. And we're trying to work with other brothers and sisters that may be on the continent and things. But everybody's, you know, I ain't gonna say everybody, but it's going to be not hard, but it's going to be somewhat challenging for us to pull ourselves together because we've been separated for we 100, maybe 1,000 years. And you're talking about coming back together as a nation, which y'all said we're going to do it. But we have different, we're the same people. We just got different cultures. You know, Judah is the only international tribe. It's the only one that went into slavery. So now imagine that coming back together. You have your Spanish Judeans. You got your African American Judeans. You got your UK Judeans. You have your Asian Judeans, your Indian Judeans. All of us are from the same tribe, but we speak different languages and we have different cultures. And for brothers to volunteer that time, yeah, it takes donations for that. There's a whole lot of work that goes into that. We have brother Mike Roebuck. He's a programmer. We have brother what's his name? Big Red.
Mm-hmm.
He's IT. Ooh, good night. And what's the other? And Mike, not Mike. Fast Nickel.
Mm-hmm.
Brothers and sisters, we are on the brink. We at the threshold.
Mm-hmm.
There's once we cross this threshold, ain't no going back. There is no going back. You might hang. I mean, not saying we want to go back, but hang it up. Once we hit this threshold, Q2UA, there's no going back. Because this is what we are fighting for, is to get past that threshold. This is the reason why we ask for donations.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go back to do surveys on 2 lands. These are the 2 biggest lands in Tanzania for mining diamonds and gold.
Yeah.
I just spoke with the brother yesterday. He gave me, I have the owners of that land. He gave me the names, the phone, no, well, not the phone numbers, but the information to get in contact. He said, yes, Mike. He talked with them and they look forward to us coming there to do a survey and sit down and talk with them and see what, arrangement that we can come up with. These brothers need help. They can find the gold, but it got to be processed. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. And so now, when these nations talk about African Americans come home, they know exactly why they want us to come home. I just spoke with this brother named Quinn. That's what he do. He breaks down minerals. He know what chemical that is needed for this or for that. When I say this man is, Quinn is a person. He got to continue to learn. That's in him. He just finished college about 2 or 3 months ago. The brother is 60 years old, and he's thinking about going back for something else. He has a niche for learning. This man, I was talking to him. He said, "Man, no, Mike, you just let me know. We can go in there and take a trip. I can break down all the chemicals that you need and everything. Gold." This man he's so eager. So I sent him the website, and I'm gonna touch bases back with him because I would like to have that brother to come on, and you never know how Yahweh use him to teach other brothers and sisters. This is how you break down these minerals. Because trust and believe, we will be taking the raw materials and we go come up with the finished product, and we go have that strength to say, hey, this is what we are selling it for. We will be making those computer chips. That's what we will be doing. This is the reason why the world do not want us to come together. But Yah said, you will come together. And this is the reason why we need donations coming in so that we can fulfill what should be done, what will be done, because it will be done. It will be done because Yah said it's going to be done, and He cannot lie.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot lie.
Hallelujah. So, yes, family, the site is up and ready. Again, thank you for those that have helped us. Thank you for your prayers and your support with Q2UA. This has been a blessing to see what the Most High has been doing this week and allowing doors to be opened. But, family, it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. We continue to need your help. The site, it takes money for these things to run. It
Oh yeah.
takes money. It takes money for these things to be maintained. That's how it goes. It takes those types of resources. Just to do stuff like that, it's not for free.
Man, if they only knew how much the licenses and everything that stuff costs to put. I did not realize how much is involved in being an organization, a non-for-profit organization, and to be done the right way. To be done the right way. Oh man, you talking about no? It's expensive.
Yeah, legal fees to make sure that you're doing things correctly and that you're staying out of jail. That your organization's not in trouble with the IRS or or any other government officials. Making sure you have compliance and other documents. There's a lot of things that look. I had to learn this on the fly, and it's every day we're still learning something, but we're still doing a great job of managing this and promoting this and growing this. And that's where we're at right now. So this is very awesome. And yeah, they want us back to help build up their nations. Because why? It's our home. When you go there and they tell you, yeah, this actually is your home, this actually belongs to you, this is actually your land, they know. Because why? Because they weren't allowed to tell us. Imagine that you are over there and you're not allowed to even tell the truth. You're not even allowed to say that you're an Israelite. Come on. We got that from one of our partners the other day. This is your land. Come home, visit. This is your land. I know I'm an Israelite. We know we're Israelites. But imagine that for over 1,000 years, at least over 700 years, you've been told, don't tell them you're an Israelite. But let us know what your culture is. So why? So I can steal your culture and I can steal your identity. That's why it clearly says in multiple scriptures that the Most High is what? He's fighting for our legacy. He's fighting for our heritage. Because why? Because they tried to steal it. And now he has to fight them to get our stuff back. That includes our identity.
That's crazy. So I kid you not, Karis. I was one of them. I thought those people were Jews. I thought they were the people of the Bible. I did. It's just like a lot of us did. But when Yah wakes you up, He wakes you up, and there's no going back to that. And if you go back, that's gonna be upon. That's your personal decision. It's gonna be to your detriment at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Because here's the thing: we've been involved in a lie, whether we want to admit it or not. One of the hardest things that you have to associate in a in group psychosis is that when everybody has realized that they've been involved in a lie, people will either just accept the lie and they'll fight hard to maintain the lie, or people get angry and then they fight the people that accept that are fighting hard to accept the lie. There is, to be honest, a lot of derision. This is a very, very important time in our captivity. No, make no bones about it. So now this is where they're at. Will everybody just kind of keep accepting the lie? Here's the thing. No, because why? Because accepting the lie will have consequences that they don't want to face. Remember, the Most High, he's a what? He's an Elohim of war. The more they want to lie about it, the worse it will be for them. Have we not seen this happening? Has that not been the pattern that they've established?
They're
The
holding on to that
more
lie.
they lie, exactly, the worse it's been for them. Oh, you want to lie? Okay, well, guess what? The Most High will do something else. The Most High will do something else.
They holding on to that lie, bro. I mean, they holding on to like for dear life. You know, they holding on to that. I'm serious. And at the same time, they holding on to a lie, and at the same time, being accused of blasphemy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're being accused of. That's what y'all. He's telling them exactly what they're doing. I know they're blasphemy, saying that they are Jews, and he telling them they are not. Just for them to be saying that they're Jew is blasphemy.
Well, that's going to be something that they have to account to with the Most High. Whatever they want to call themselves, I don't care. However they want to label themselves, I don't care. That's between them and the Most High. So I'm not going to, go down that rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Wasn't even thinking that time, bro.
So listen, all I can say is, look, the more that science comes out, the more that technology proves. Shout out to Benny Israel. They're gonna have to really. It's not just us. They're gonna have to apologize to, but it's gonna be the rest of the world. And let me tell you this. Let me tell you how Japheth gets down. Let me tell you how Japheth gets down when Japheth gets lied to. That's the real concern. It ain't us. They ain't scared of us. Okay, yeah, hey, sorry we lied to you. Okay, thank you for the apology. Now you got to explain it to your Japhetic brothers behind you.
Yeah, your kids and everything.
You get what I'm telling you? Now you want to explain it to them. Well, well. Oh, y'all tried to lie. That's okay. What's done in the dark will what? It'll come into the light. That's why every single time we're doing something here at Quest Unite Africa, I've always said this. This is not my organization. It's not Mike's organization. It's not a handful of people's organization. This is the Most High's organization. And if you think that you can do slick, the Most High will remove you. I'm always fearful of that. But I always thank the Most High that, look, I don't need to lie or manipulate or do anything else. I'm just going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth, even if it's to my own detriment. I don't care, because here's the thing. I love him. I wouldn't be doing what I've been doing for these last 3.5 years if I didn't love our Heavenly Father, because I've realized just how much he's loved me. I went through the worst periods of my life in these last 3.5 years, but guess what? I've realized all this time, it wasn't to set me back, it was to set me up in ways that were unimaginable. And all this time, I'm thinking, man, well, this was a real setback, Father. Can't go on active duty, can't get a full-time job, can't do. I was looking at all the things that was taken away from me, not for my detriment, but literally it was for my good, because I had to realize this is how I deal with his people. If this time wasn't so pressing, I know I'd be at work. I know I'd be working. But I knew what he did. He removed me. And then when he removed me, he had to set me down. And he had to say, look, and it's a process, it hurts. But I understood. And I thank the Most High that now my family sees it more than ever. I'm here on the live and they're texting me and calling me, trying to figure things out, trying to understand things. And I know that if that's happening to me, I know it's happening to you all. But what we had to do is that we had to grow through this and move through this. Because no, family, it's not going to get easier. It's only going to get harder. Because you want to know why? Because now more and more and more and more people are going to be asking, which way is it to Zion? Brother Rich, final thoughts, so I'm going to shut this down.
Hey, my encouragement is this: always keep your head on the swivel. We seeing what's happening, and let's continue to be respectful and encouraging our brothers during this time of the end. Hand it back to you, Brother Karras.
All right, hallelujah. Thank you, Brother Mike. Family, again, please visit our webpage, new and improved. Hallelujah. And now we also, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, we have our Q2UA shop. Please peruse and shop to your heart's desire. Because you want to know why? Because when it's all said and done, I'm still on Mike's line. When it's all said and done, are you a Q2UA? Oh man, oh man. I wish I would have known about that organization. I wish. I wish. Help us continue the work by visiting quest2uniteafrica.org. Your gift will help continue the amazing work of supplying mothers on the continent with critical medical supplies to ensure safe newborn delivery on the continent. Critical medical, or excuse me, sorry. Your donation will also help Q2A continue to build strategic political, business, and media partnerships that advance the interests of the diaspora and our brothers and sisters in Africa. Please also join our Facebook group and engage in the discussion for seizing this historical opportunity to build on the continent alongside our brothers and sisters. I will post the link again to the shop. And it is under Q2UNiteAfrica.org. Scroll down. It is under Q2UNiteAfrica.org. You just have to scroll all the way down and you'll see the shop. That I will post it. So with that said, family, most high willing, I'll be back on Monday with Covenant Awakenings. Family, if there's anything that pops off, please rest assured that we will be on reporting. We just have to. That is part of our Q2UA social responsibility. I want to say Q2UA kingdom responsibility. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So with that said, family, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom. Peace and blessings, Yasharel.
Tuna wageni watatu, Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Karibuni sana.